says you can use magnifying glasses for this.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay, let's sit over there because they're closer.
There should be, well, there's plenty, but there might even be enough, like 2 for every bin. I don't know, it was on the bench, so.
It was on the bench. Did anybody put their bag on the bench?
Who doesn't have their bag?
Well, we'll figure it out. We can just leave it here because you guys are going to
Mine's for zombies. Bad stuff in here.
It's heavy. It looks like it's got a camera.
No! Anyone brought the bag? Ew!
Well, we're going to tell you.
Angela.
Now, have you guys done planting? A lot of times you do planting in school when you learn about plants. So you guys are going to plant a plant, and your friends in the other group already did it. And what you're going to do is we're going to, usually when you think about starting plants, and I showed you a little bit when we were outside, mostly you think about starting plants from what? Seeds. So, but a lot of times we don't want to start plants from seeds because if you plant seeds, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. Did you tell me your name? What's your name? Abdullah. I can pick on somebody else. Abdur. I just need your first name.
That is my first.
What is it?
He goes by Abdul.
Can I call you Murgatroyd? That's what we're talking about the other day. Let's just say your name is too long for me. Who's got a short name?
Me. Abdul. Nathan.
Nathan. Can I call you Nate? No. Do your buddies call you Nate? That's even either. Or I can call you N.
Michael.
Let's say, for example, you know, the other day I had a little girl and her name was Persephone. Like, that is way too long for me. If I can't spell it, we're going to pretend like you're the greatest human being on the face of the earth and we want another one of you. Now, if I wanted another one of him, could I call his mother or his father up or whomever and say, we want another one of them? And they don't, like that? Could I take seeds from you and start one? No, you don't make seeds, you're not a plant. What I can do with a plant, if I decide it's the greatest plant in the whole world, is I can take a piece of it and stick it in some kind of growing medium, and today your growing medium is soil. And I can grow a new one that's a clone. So can I take a piece of you and stick it in a piece of growing medium and grow a human? No. So that's the difference between us and plants, is I can't clone a human. It's too complicated and it's kind of scary to think about. But plants you can. And what you're going to do is you guys are going to take a cutting of a giant jade plant we have here. So all of you guys are going to have plants that are all related. They're all genetically the same, as if they are twins, except that they're all going to go off to your various homes. So you're all going to have plants that are related to one another, except his is going to live in his house, and yours is going to live in your house. And once they get into wherever you have them, they'll change and they'll adapt to whatever the living environment is. But genetically, they are exactly the same. And scientists do that because they think, you know, that you have the most fantastic personality, so I want a plant that's got a really great personality. Or this one over here has really terrific leaf color. We looked at those sweet potatoes with the lime green leaves. It's easier to make sure that you get a plant that's going to have lime green leaves if you take a piece of it and you start over. Because if I waited till that had flowers and I collected the seeds, I don't know what's going to happen. Some bee might have come along and pollinated it, and I don't know what I'm going to get. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make your labels. And you're going to do it like a scientist would. So how about you pass up and then give everybody a pencil. And you can give everybody one of these. And we'll fill those out. That is that plant right there. And that's called a roost. And believe it or not, that is a plant that's related to the plant that we get the flavoring for root beer from. But we don't drink that one. It doesn't taste good. But it's a cousin of the plant that we get root beer from. Everything on your label. Everybody's got a label? Yep. Everybody's got a pencil? Yep. No pencil? How do you know that? We're going to pass them out. Everybody needs to write his or her name on their plant label, and you want to write the square-ish, roundish end, not the pointy end, because the pointy end is going to disappear in the soil. The most important thing you're going to write is your name.
Nice and big. Right, nice and big.
And then you can flip your label over, and nice and big on the other side, you will write the name of the plant you're going to plant, and it is called a jade plant. Jade. J-A-D-E.
I know those colors. I saw one lady who was walking past one.
We're going to go down there and cut it. We had to bypass it because it was sprinkling.
Aren't they cactuses?
They are related to cactus, but they are considered a succulent. A cactus is a succulent, but not all succulents are cactus. If I say cactus, what's the first thing you think of?
Spines.
Spines. And a jade plant doesn't have spines, so it's not a cactus. But a succulent is a plant that stores water, because you think about where they grow. Where do cactuses grow?
Desert.
And it doesn't rain, so you're thirsty, what do? You particularly. The bun, yeah. What do you do if you're thirsty?
I will. In the desert?
No, here, right here.
I will.
Or when you're home and you're thirsty. You're watching TV, you're thirsty.
I would drink water.
And where does that water come from?
It comes from.
Don't think too hard. He said it comes from the refrigerator. You're going to get up and you're going to get water. Now, do any of these plants get up and go to the refrigerator?
No.
No. These plants are fortunate to live in New Jersey where we get about an inch of rain a week. That's about what a plant needs. Now in the desert, they don't get an inch of rain a week. They get all their rain in about 1 month. Usually the rainy season lasts about 4 to 6 weeks. So for the other 40 weeks of the year, they have to store water. And they store it in their stems or their leaves. And that's a plant that's a succulent. So most of the plants that grow in hot, dry places are succulents. So, and you can kind of tell because you're feeling they're squishy. And stop draining. So what we're going to do is we're going to get prepped. And so everybody's going to get a pot. And I want you to fill the pot up with soil. And the easiest thing to do is take turns. And you're going to have to get your hands dirty. You're going to fill your pot up with soil almost to the top. You want to smooth it out, but you don't want to pack it down. You don't want to be doing this. And anybody think they know why you wouldn't want to pack the soil down like that?
Because there's holes in it. They make a fall out. Say it louder.
Say it loud.
There's holes at the bottom. They make a fall out.
Well, there's holes at the bottom. That's a little bit of it. But, you know, think about it. Like if I came in and I made your bed and I tucked you in so tight that you couldn't move, the sheets were tucked in, it wouldn't grow. You would not be comfortable. So if the soil is packed up, it's really hard for the roots to move through. It would be not a whole lot better than if you just left your plant on the floor. So you want your soil to be kind of fluffy. You can pat it down a little bit, but you don't want to pack it in. So the easiest thing to do is kind of scoop it in and press it down a little bit. You can tap it a little bit, that lets it settle. So almost to this line. So everybody can try that. Here's one for you. That looks most excellent. That looks good. Don't pack it down too much. That was fantastic. You need a little more? You can put one more little handful in there. That looks a little bit more.
No.
Put a little bit more. Now I'm going to steal one of these while they're not here. Shh, don't tell them. So we're going to go down and we're going to cut a piece off the plant. This is the part you're going to stick in. You're going to see there's something missing from this plant. A lot of times when you move, yes, the roots are not there. But what happens is you plant the plant, and this is a plant, and as soon as it gets into the soil, it starts to regenerate new roots. It's like a salamander that loses its tail and grows a new one. It's sort of the same thing.
That's also chameleon nose.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Chameleon, not salamander. So what we're going to do is we're going to go cut, everybody's going to cut their own piece, and it might be easier if you take a finger and you poke a hole, so you have a hole for the stem to go in. And then after we do that, I'll come back and I'll tell you how to take care of it. I have care parts, but I just didn't have. So are we ready? We're going to go down and everybody's going to do their own cutting. And we're going to use special cutting tools, the pruners. And all of you are old enough, they are like very sharp scissors. So are you going to horse around with them?
No.
No.
Just
Because what happens if you're horsing around, and I've done this to myself twice, is you can cut yourself, and they're really sharp. My pruners. So we're going to go down and we're going to cut. So you'll leave your pots here and you can come back. That looks fantastic.
Your bags here.
Yeah, you can leave everything here. So these are 3 pairs of pruners. I'm going to hand them to you. First thing you're going to do, you see them? They are locked. And then you open them and you slide them. So when you pass it on to the next person, you can lock them, practice lock them, you open them up. Let me show you first. You hold these. So you want a pretty good piece if you want to, because you got a decent sized pot, so you want to kind of come along. And what you need to have at least 4 leaves. So most of the cuttings that you're going to do are much bigger. So if I like the way this one looks, I would cut it right there.
Could it be more than 4 leaves?
Yeah, so this one only has 4. This one has 5. But see, now I don't have a whole lot of stem here, so to me that's a little bit too short.
Pick that.
So yeah, I would just pull that off. And then I have a nice big stem. And what part am I going to stick in my soil?
The stem.
The stem. So I'm not going to go bigger. You want to go back up and you'll stick this one in the soil. And then after everybody does that, I'll come up and I'll tell you all the tricks to make sure that it grows roots and it gets going. All right. So we're going to start with you. Here, well, you might as well start with one and you. And then you can pass them on.
Just step back. Just
So,
step back. Everything
you want to see what you see that you like, and then you can, if you think you have a question about it, let me know. Now remember, I showed you.
Watch your fingers. Sweetie, pay attention to what you're doing and watch your
What you're
fingers.
Hold it in your hand. You got to squeeze it a little bit.
There you go. No.
No,
You
just
got it.
one.
You got just one. There you go.
Yep.
Okay, pass it to someone else now.
Who's next?
Okay, so
perfect.
stand over here. Okay, there you go.
I think your stem is long enough.
Be careful with those
Hold
guys.
hold it here so it doesn't drop. There you go.
One of the things I always tell people is when you're cutting, if you're right-handed and you're holding the pruners in your right hand, you need to be aware where your left hand is. So you can even like hold your hand up in the air if you're nervous.
Yeah.
So I would cut it right there. So, but now you got a really short stem, so what would you do? I think I would pull this one.
Micah?
Perfect. That's the most excellent.
Wow. Which one do you want?
Who's ready?
Wait, that one's
Here's a nice one right there.
How about right there? Right here?
That's okay. Yep, right there.
There you go. Good.
There you go. Oops. That's all right. I'm not
Sweetie, be careful with those.
This is most excellent right here. Now this leaf is kind of sad. What would you do? You could keep that there. It might heal, or you know what you could try?
That's kind of small.
You could snap it and stick it in the soil next to it, and it might actually grow seconds.
So snip it off? Snip it off? Yeah.
Wait, you'll pull that
Snap it
over.
off with your fingers.
Good.
Who's ready?
Who else needs to go?
You need to go.
That one?
Over here.
Let's see.
How about up here?
This one's a nice one. About right above that little baby. Oops. It's kind of where I knocked that leaf off. And you put it in your pot. I'm just using this for show. So I put it in there, and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if I have roots. If you do that every day, what you're going to do is you're going to break the little roots. It would be as if I came and every day I was like, oh, I wonder how your bun is. I wonder how your bun is. I wonder how your bun is. It's annoying, isn't it? So that's what you're doing to your plant. And You don't want to do that. You want to let it sit in the soil for probably 2 weeks. And then you can come along and you can very gently kind of go, I wonder what's going on. And gently pull it out. And if you shake the soil off, you'll see there's little roots. It takes about 2 weeks. So you got to let it go for 2 weeks without giving it a hard time.
How about if it's good?
Think of it as like your little brother.
If it's
Here, Gwen. Here's the other.
Okay. All right.
I can tell. Yeah, this.
All right, let's go up and we're going
What
to
is
see the
still
plant.
plant?
So
There we go.
what's your name? Samuel. Samuel asked me about his plant. It's kind of curly. Well, what happens is the plant wants to go where the sun is. So this plant was probably shaded or crowded by something. So you're going to plant, he's going to plant this whole stem sideways. And what happens is the plant will start to turn and it will grow up towards wherever the sun is. So you wouldn't want to plant yours like this. You're going to plant yours like this. Give it a head start. Which all the more reason you don't want to keep coming along going, hey, hey, hey. And did you notice when if you squeeze the leaves, the cool thing about a jade plant is it tells you how it's doing. So if you touch your jade plant and the leaves are kind of squishy, they feel kind of squishy. Yeah, they feel, I just think they sort of feel like rubbery pillows. That means they have enough water in it. Your plant will tell you if it needs more water. The leaves get wrinkly. No, you know, it looks like, it doesn't look like it has wrinkles in it. And it will tell you if you've given it too much water, it starts to turn yellow. So that's the cool thing about it. So this kind of plant, what you're going to do is you're not going to water. You'll water when you get home today. Don't water before. You don't want to get the bus driver mad. You don't want to get water in the bus. The plant will be fine. Water it when you get home, and you water it very gently. I always put the sink on a trickle. And you water it, and the water will go into the soil, and when the water starts to come out of the holes at the bottom, then your soil is wet. It can't hold anymore. It's like a sponge. And then you probably don't need to water it again for probably close to a week. And I have little care cards, which I must be in the classroom. So if you haven't done so, put your tag in with your name so you know who's whose.
Put this in?
Yeah, put that tag in. You're struggling because you got that crazy stem? No, it's crooked right now, but what's going to happen is it's going to start to grow up. But it should be fine. But yours is a really good example of not coming along going, hey, how you doing? You want it to stay in there and you want that part covered up. And what's going to happen is roots are going to develop all along the part that's under the soil.
When it gets big.
So why don't you guys line them up over there on that shelf? Or we can put them someplace else. So maybe we'll clean the tables out before you guys eat. Wherever you want to put them. Or you can put them over there on that ledge so they're not mixed up with those. They're not mixed up with those people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Goodness, the sun's still.
Yes, it is.